Good evening. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Stina Show. Tonight's guest is Mary Donnelly, who's a singer, dancer, and an actress. Triple threat. Yes, Mary! Welcome, Mary. Let me get you in. Hello. Hi, Lewis. Mary!
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, you're so prompt and on time. I'm not used to this, Mary.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Usually I'm like, where are these people?
Oh, it's all good.
Well, an artist is usually early, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, we don't get opportunity.
10 minutes early is 5 minutes late.
That's true. Your hair is beautiful. You're beautiful, Mary. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How is everything?
I miss you, Mary.
I miss you guys so much. I miss making your caramel latte.
Don't get me going.
Yes.
Are you at school right now?
Yes, I am. And I will be back home like after the first or second week in May about. Yeah.
Oh, you're coming back soon then.
Yeah.
So where are you right now? What school are you at?
I'm at Oklahoma City University, and I am a dance performance major, so I study dancing, singing, and acting, and it's a very musical theater dance-based program, so I get to do a lot of ballet, tap, and jazz.
Nice.
And yeah.
You have fun, huh?
I have a very fun time.
So cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I already said it, but you and I met at the coffee shop, Kookaburra.
Yeah.
And that place is so magical. There's something about it.
There's a big family dynamic with everyone.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? It's like Cheers. Another customer said once, it's like Cheers.
Yes, it definitely is. And yeah, I miss everyone there so much. I try to keep in touch or send my emails out to people, but yeah.
Aw, yeah, people, you have comments. Can you say them? Pretty
Yes.
lady, Mary is the best.
Guys, thank you for all the love.
Thank you. When you were little baby Mary, did you know you wanted to perform?
Yes, I knew from a very young age. It was more people realizing that was the way that I always was. I mean, I would wake up and put on a fancy little costume and come downstairs and have breakfast and just talk in an accent or something, or just be like a character. And yeah, I was always a little bit of I always liked having my own little story, or making movies as a kid was always very fun for me. And my mom enrolled me in dance classes after she watched me watching the Rockettes for the first time on TV, and I would just point at it and be like, that's me,
Oh.
and just imitate what they were doing and do it to the best of my abilities, and just, make the dream come true one day.
Aw, so how old were you when you enrolled in dance?
3.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did ballet, tap, and I didn't do jazz until a little bit later. I started out doing more hip hop, actually. As a kid, I loved doing a little bit of competition hip hop, which was funny because I was just this little naive little girl, and then I was just busting out all the moves, duck face, glued on the whole time. So it was definitely pretty funny, and I always enjoyed doing a lot of hip hop also, because I mean, I have 3 brothers, and it just seemed like a little bit of a tough girl edge that I would pretend to have. But it was very fun. It kept it interesting, And I was very musical from a young age, so I loved that hip hop had that. But I would say my favorite is tap and musical theater. I didn't get into musical theater until a little bit after, though, as I was saying. But I love tap because it's so musical. And I started playing piano when I was 4.
Nice.
So I got a pretty good background in that as a kid. And my family is rather musical. So my brother plays the guitar, my older brother plays the piano, and Yeah.
So why didn't you start a family band, Mary?
I know. Honestly, like, if I was home for Easter right now, we'd probably be playing something fun. But yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I started doing more I started playing the piano, and I picked up violin and flute, which was my love for so long. I almost wanted to go to college for flute because it was such a big passion of mine, and I played it throughout all of high school, and it was so fun. I loved doing like improvisation for flute over something and just finding a new harmony. So a lot of my music theory knowledge that I apply now for all of my choreographing and everything, thank you, Tina, is all like stemming from just the flute. And I think that part of like being a choreographer is having that respect for the music that's given to you, and just respecting that whole process that the songwriter went through to produce that.
So similar to a script, and when a writer writes their words on the script.
Yeah, and I mean, also it makes it so cool. I mean, specifically in like tap, you know, I can tell like the music, I can anticipate it, I can build up to a certain part in the music, or my choreography can be reacting to the music also. And there was actually, so one of my biggest inspirations is Thomas Newman. He's a composer for,
I love him.
oh,
He's so good.
He's so cool. And
any other name, right? Does he?
I know he composed for like Finding Nemo and for the Series of Unfortunate Events movie. And like in one of his like interviews, he was talking about how he feels so selfish as an artist when he only uses his music to build up to a certain moment, but he also likes it to react to some things, so that he's playing a part in the storytelling, just for the cinematic experience of it all. And I feel like as a choreographer, that is how I try to be a little bit, where I can play with my intention of the movement, if that makes sense.
So you're more of a vessel in a way.
Yeah.
So cool. Thomas, no, you dropped a bomb. He's the best.
Oh, he's really awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, there's a lot in there I could talk about. But so he's one of your inspirations.
Yes, I have quite a few inspirations, though, I would say. Thomas Newman is one of the biggest ones. Tom Hanks, from like an acting perspective.
Wow. Classic American lead.
Yes. Oh yeah, he's incredible. For dancing, I love like Ann Miller and Vera Ellen and all of the like the vintage Hollywood movies. I always just like looked up to them. And Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, I love watching them. And the director of the dance program at Oklahoma City University is Jo Rowan, and she is one of my biggest inspirations. She is a truly incredible woman.
Are you taking classes with her now?
Yes, I'm actually in my last ballet rotation with her. And she just has so many wise words that just, you know, they hit home for every single dancer, and just, you know, wanting to be as versatile in your art as possible so you can love someone more than you need them, you know, so that you don't have to marry someone for money, but you could just be with them because you love them, because I get to do what I love every single day. And that's something that not a lot of people get to do.
Right.
You know?
No, and it's a risk, and it's a huge risk to do what you love.
Yeah, especially during, you know, times like now. You gotta remember why you place. So
someone was calling me. No, these times are tough, right? And you came home from school for a while, right? And then you just went back?
Yeah, so I was remote for a little bit, and my family was pretty nervous about COVID because my little brother is immunocompromised, and he has type 1 diabetes. So we wanted to keep the family safe for a little bit, and I learned from home. And, you know, that brought about its own set of challenges.
Yeah.
Also, you know, benefits, because I was able to be at home. I have a little dance space in my basement, which I was blessed to have, you know, in a time like this. I don't know how I would have gotten by without it. And, you know, also working at Kookaburra and just feeding off of everyone's energy there was truly a blessing. I was so inspired as an artist just from like the interactions I would have with people every day.
Yeah.
You know, I would like write songs about it. I would make like have like choreographic ideas about it for the notebook, you know.
You worked with a lot of artists too there.
Yeah. And I mean, all artists love being individual. So being the only dancer, I definitely like, I love that, but I also love being surrounded by artists, you know, because I felt very unique in the atmosphere and everyone. It's just such a loving environment. It's really unlike anything else, you know. And I mean, the more you grow and learn, it's everything should be collaborative, you know. I want to love the people that I work with, and because we'll make something better that way. And sometimes creating in a competitive atmosphere can only get you so far. It can get you pretty far. It can get you to the door, but it can't keep you inside for too long.
No, get out of here.
You know, because it doesn't have that depth, you know.
Right.
And you can only be so good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to some guy in the post office today, he just started talking to me at the Rockville Center post office. And he's like, I'm leaving Rockville Center after 40 years. And I'm leaving my house and all this stuff. I'm like, well, where's your family? You know, he said, Florida. I said, well, then what are you upset about?
Yeah.
You know, you want to be where the people are, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
that's
it is. I know. And like, I don't know, there's so many great things about being an artist during this time, but also I'm just so excited to see what people create because everyone's had a little bit of time. And if there's anything that I learned, you were asking before about like my enlightenment experience.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, and for me that was my sophomore year at school. I broke my foot, and it was terrible because I'm a dance major and I can't dance, you know. And a lot of artists kind of had that, I would say, like identity crisis during COVID of who am I if I'm not performing all the time. And I kind of had that happen my sophomore year because I figured, you know, who am I if I can't be dancing every day? That's who I am. That's what I do. That's how I, you know, give back the gift that I was given, you know. And I didn't really know what to do. So I kind of had to learn that for a little bit. So when COVID came, I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, I know what to do. Like, if my body can physically dance, I will be dancing every single second that I'm allowed to. You know,
how long does it take your foot to heal? I know that's a big thing in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a boot for like a whole semester pretty much, except for like the end, like right before I had to like level out. So it was a little bit crazy. But it definitely made me mature at an incredible rate for that, and just have that gratitude to be able to dance every day, that, you know, I didn't want to have to learn, you know, when I couldn't dance anymore, and then trying to give back. And I'm really blessed that I had that experience, because now, like, every single time I'm dancing, like, if I get like too in my zone and I just think about it for too much, I'll almost like not be able to breathe because I'm just so excited that I'm moving, you know. And I'm just so excited that like I get to put a smile on someone's face. And I never really knew that I had that ability until, you know, even just working at Kookaburra. And you could, you know, life doesn't get better, but it gets less bad. And it's like little things like that that I can do to help someone's day be a little bit less bad, you know?
Yeah, and these challenges are going to come with whatever profession.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and that for you, I mean, mentally, I know I've had so many mental challenges in artists. That's a huge mental hurdle, huge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all how you react to the situation. When that happened to me, I was like, okay, then I need to focus on singing more. And I kind of spent a little more of that time to focus on that a little bit, and like choreography and stuff that I planned to do as soon as I was healed. And there was also like little metal pieces on my boot, so I would like tap one foot like against it and like try to like, you know, like tap with one foot to be like making sounds on it. I did what I could, but I mean,
improv.
Yeah, I hated not being able to dance for a while. So I mean, I guess COVID definitely brought about that maturity with it. I also had, so last semester I had a choreography show with the dance school, and I had to do something in my house. And I'm like, okay, first of all, who's going to record? Who's going to be in this? And how am I going to choreograph it and dance it, but have it filmed the way that I want it to be filmed?
Right.
And my 3 brothers ended up doing it with me. So, and they're all very like masculine, haven't danced a day in their lives. So I'm really like trying my hardest to be like, okay, you know, in football when you're like going like this with your feet like across the line, like I want you to do that. And then all of them are like racing together to do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a grapevine. Like that's, you know. So I mean, and just like teaching them like that, and it worked out perfectly. It couldn't have gone better. And it was just, you know, working with what I had, not having that expectation, but just having the opportunity to do it. I think that COVID definitely brought about that sense of maturity to a lot of artists where like, you know, we're just looking for something to work with.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, your family supported you 100%, which helps energy and motivational.
Yeah. Which I was truly blessed to have.
And also I know you're young, don't say your age, but as young artists, you have a lot of energy and drive. So that you just want to keep going and going. Cause I'm there, you know, I've been there, I'm getting older, but I'm there, you know, and you just want to power through and get what you want, do what you want. Cause that's what you want to create. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And something sometimes has to slow you down, and that's natural because of the energy momentum you're putting out. So it sounds like you were slowed down, but obviously you connected with your family more and figured out how to work remotely, which is huge, right, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, if I could do that, I could work with anyone. Because, I mean, you know, my brothers would be funny, like, oh, yeah, let's not go to rehearsal, you know? And I'm like, oh, my gosh, like, what am I going to submit for the thing? I'm like, okay, guys, like, let's do something. And then I'm like, okay, like, how am I going to make this work? But, I mean, it made me get closer to them. My brothers would just, you know, they'd be embarrassed if I showed it, but they're still proud with what they were able to do, you know, and like I'm so proud of them for that.
Aww.
Like my older brother was doing his law school midterms and he's like, yeah, I guess I'll just put on my pink polo shirt now and just start dancing around my backyard. Like, no, I have to take, you know, he had to take midterms. So it was just very interesting, like pivoting in that situation, just, you know, with what I had to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, you see what Vin said.
Oh,
that's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny.
Yeah.
So I guess your family must be inspirational too. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I'm like, all of us are rather artistic but we're not necessarily artistic. We're all very musical. And, none of them do that as a profession other than myself. So that's also why it's a little bit interesting because I can look up to them in the fact that they're able to balance it with other things. And that's why I have that sense of almost being very academic about my art, you know, and setting up like an organized, chaotic schedule for myself so that I can hold myself accountable, you know, because all of them have like stuff to do every single day and a million other things that they're working on, and that's just an outlet. But I get to have my outlet be my entire career, you know?
Yeah.
So
very fortunate. Yeah. But that's also your goals and you're working towards it. You're not just sitting around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite genres to sing and dance to?
Ooh, okay. So, well, favorite Broadway show is definitely Phantom of the Opera.
Nice.
That is why I started doing theater. I auditioned for it in 7th grade in like, I went to Kellenberg, but I went to the Latin school. And in 7th grade, because it was all combined, so it was a lot of people. And I auditioned and I was like, okay, well, what song am I gonna, are all artists in your family? I have 3 brothers. So one plays the piano, one plays the guitar, but like electric guitar, very like Van Halen. And then the youngest does not play an instrument yet, but he's slowly learning how to play the piano. We love Billy Joel. So, you know,
I love Billy Joel.
Learning his scenes from an Italian restaurant and building up from there.
Aww.
So, yeah. What was I saying? I'm so sorry.
Your favorite Phantom of the Opera
Yes. So so I'm like, okay, what song am I going to use to audition for this? Because I didn't know the show. I didn't know anything about it. And I was just in 7th grade, and I just YouTube like Phantom of the Opera like song. And it wasn't even the song. It was like Think of Me. And I'm watching it with my dad, and he's like, you could probably sing this. And I'm like,
Aw.
okay, all right, like I'll learn it. And then I just like fell in love with that song, and just the whole show. Oh my gosh, I've seen it 1,000,001 times. I love that show so much. And other favorite shows, I love that like the Golden Age shows, or like White Christmas, or Crazy for You, or like American in Paris. Like I love, yeah, or like On the Town. My favorite choreographer is Jerome Robbins. And I love having like an athletic sense to dance, of having that like insane level of ballet technique have to be applied in every single thing to be able to do it. So I don't know, I just have such a deep respect for all of those, because there's so much dancing and everything, you know? And I have so many favorite shows, but I would say definitely that era, like that whole like mega movie musical era is my favorite to dance in. Singing, I was more classically trained, I would say, before I started belting, and now I do love belting. I love singing everything. You know, I'll sing like a little bit of opera, a little bit of belting. I also like singing country music sometimes, but not like corny country music, like good country music. Or like Carrie Underwood, you know, like anything like that. Like it's fun. I'm also a very old soul. Like I love old rock too. So pretty much anything. I will sing anything under the sun. But also dancing to I'm rather versatile with my styles. But I would say if I had to choose one, it would probably be like the mega movie musical era.
So if you were gonna make an album for yourself right now, do you have an idea of what it would be?
Okay, if I was just to drop an album right now, it would be very singer-songwriter, very Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, wow, I love her.
Yeah, it would be more Sarah Bareilles, like a female John Mayer, you know?
Wow.
Something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're so soulful and deep too. I love them.
Yeah.
What's good country music, Vinny said?
That's a valid question. It's very rare to find, but I do like some country music, also because like the roots of it came, also like some jazz chords are used in country, and I do like that sound, like as a songwriter. Yeah, John Mayer is awesome. He's fantastic. I don't like any popular music, like ever. I've never liked anything that's mainstream whatsoever. Yeah, thought I would throw that in there.
Wow.
But yeah. I feel like country music has chords that can add very nice color to a song.
That's cool. Are you in any unions yet?
I am not. I am non-union.
It sounds like you should look at equity first from
equity would be a goal. I would consider SAG-AFTRA. I am open to film.
We're waiting.
Yes, I know. I mean, and also, yeah, so I would definitely consider SAG. And then the union that why am I blanking out the name? For like the Rockettes, that there's a different union.
I know there's ASCAP, there's a few. They're not many actually.
I'm blanking out on it now, but I'll probably have it. Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I'm honestly just open to whatever's coming, because right now I don't know. Yeah. When I do come back to New York, I'm not very picky. I love performing. I love making people happy. I love creating. So I just can't wait.
Can I show a little clip of this video here?
Oh yeah.
What was this video before I show it here?
Oh yeah. So my boyfriend John, he's a barista with me at Kookaburra.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Who yeah.
Yeah. And he just left for the Navy. So I made a video with him, but I wasn't able to make the whole thing with him because I had to go. So I just tried filling it in with stuff, but it was more just because he was leaving, and it was just like a fun thing to do.
But Valentine's Day inspired.
Yes, definitely.
It's cute.
Thank you.
And my favorite shoes are in here, I think.
He's very good at the transitions.
Aw. his debut.
Oh, he's very fun.
Nice.
Favorite
You said
project
that.
was
Yeah. Phantom of the. Look at those shoes. I love your shoes. We talked in depth about your shoes. It's very cute.
I appreciate it.
I could watch the whole thing, but then, you know.
Yeah.
No, you guys are a great couple. I love you guys together.
Thank you.
I know he left. He left us.
I know. He'll be back soon enough.
It goes by faster for you than for him. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I'll have to bring the vibes back to Kookaburra, though.
Yes.
I bet they're there right now, but I'll on behalf of me and John, I guess.
Well, Raquel's last day was today.
Oh my
God. Was it today? Yeah. And then, Jordan's coming out. Come back. We need you.
I know. Oh my gosh.
But really, obviously, pursue your dreams. That's number one. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be working there until I book Broadway, hopefully. So.
And let's get vaccinated and make it happen. Yeah. Jesus. So you said some of your favorite performers. What about modern performers?
I would say like modern influences, definitely like Laura Osnes for voice. Yes, Gabby. I would love to sing exactly like her if I could. If I could be in Bandstand. Ooh, love that show. I would say also like modern day influences, like choreographer wise. Al Blackstone, incredible. Andy Blankenbuehler, amazing. Just very inspirational, real, authentic people, and it's so cool to be able to take a class and just like step into the choreographer's mind for a second nowadays, where I just look back on all the art from before and I'm like, okay, I want to be in that show, but I don't know anything about that process, so it's really interesting to learn about that now. But I would say quite a few modern influences, but the biggest one singing wise is definitely Laura Osnes.
So for choreography, do you approach it differently than you do just setting up your own, like a dance routine, or for yourself, I guess?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really like they build off of each other, if that makes sense. So as I become a better dancer, I'll become a better choreographer, because I'll learn, what feels good on my body and how that could feel good on someone else's body, like kinesthetically. And also being a better choreographer, I can be a better dancer because I'll have more of a clear intent as a storyteller, and being able to portray that to an audience. So, hi Raquel.
Raquel.
So yes. So I think they definitely build off of each other and influence each other. I love being on the creative side of things. I love being behind the scenes, but I want to be a performer first. But I eventually want to choreograph once I cannot perform anymore.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I mean, choreography seems more of a boss lady, right?
But
it's management too.
Yeah, but there's so many things to get inspired by every day. And part of the being motivated and having a schedule, but having an open schedule, like I feel like if I overschedule myself, I'll have that tunnel vision, and then I'll block out so much of the creativity where, I'm neat, but I still live in everything is organized chaos, and if it wasn't, then there would be no need for artists, because we would have nothing to, critique or speak on or have an opinion of, so I think that that's very interesting. I mean, even the other day I was walking outside, it was like drizzling, but I mean, I love taking it all in, and I was listening to my favorite song, Rhapsody in Blue, the whole thing, and just walking, and it's just like so dramatic, but I was almost guessing like what I would see at like at a certain point in the music, just from like a choreographer's perspective, just to see.
That's cool. Yeah.
And because sometimes when I listen to music, I think that everything around me could potentially be like a music video for it, you know, and just like explaining, or like a song is on and there's like a bird and I'm like, that's hilarious. Like this bird is like, you know, singing, but obviously they're not. But it's just
Kayla.
fun. So,
Nice.
Kayla, hi.
Hi to the good people.
There's so many interesting things with that, but even when I was walking at the most, like, there was going to be a big climax in music. No way. And I was assuming that it was going to be this one tree that had just so many blossoms on it, you know, and it wasn't, you know, it was, no way. I love you guys.
I love you.
I love them. But I mean, because
you should have a group call soon.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I will talk about that in a second. Yeah. So it was all these like barren trees, just like dead trees, and then there was one that had all these blossoms on it, you know. And the buildup in the music, I thought was gonna like climax at that one tree, just as it was like, oh my gosh, this timing's gonna be so cool. I was like getting excited about it while I'm walking up to it. Thank you. And the big crash happened right before the tree, and then there was a very like intimate sound of just like a little violin, you know, and then I was like, wow, no, that's interesting, because that is everything that I didn't think would happen in, you know, the worst words possible to use. But one of my favorite choreographers, Andy Blankenbuehler, he's like choreographed Hamilton, and he's and Bandstand. Yeah, so very interesting, very inspirational man. And I took his class yesterday for the first time. I had just heard so much about him and like listened to so many of the interviews, and he talked about like using flash steps in choreography, of like the step you're like, oh wow, and he said that he only uses them right before the moment that he wants the audience to notice, because it gets their attention to watch what he really cares about. And that's something that I thought about when I saw this like giant tree at like this really small moment in the music, instead of something that was so big. Okay. How is my creative process? Yeah, I think, first of all, I just think keep inspiration open always, you know, and I love being inspired by the most like pedestrian things, you know, and just, you know, I was mentioning, like my first choreographic piece that I ever got to set on people was called Sleepwalking. And it was a dance about sleepwalking, because you know, where I was just like thinking about how my family had so many random sleepwalking stories. A
lot of people do. I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like thinking about it. I'm like, oh, that would be a fun idea for a dance. And it was to The River of Dreams by Billy Joel. Billy Joel.
That's perfect.
So, it was so funny because it was very like movement quality wise. If you've ever seen like Nick Palmquist's choreography, if you ever look him up, he's incredible. But it was just very like fun and just like a little silly sometimes, but very interesting movement. And that's what I wanted for the ensemble of the piece. So it's like one guy's sleepwalking as like blindfolds on, who's just like walking around the stage, and everyone else is like the inner machinations of his mind, like leading him on this dream, so that, you know, he's going to keep crashing into the door until one of them opens it for him, you know. And they all have like little different personalities, or one's like the curious one, one's like helping him out, the other one's like silly, wants him to fall in the space, and they're like ha ha ha, you know. So you know, that was my first piece I ever got to set, and it was just comedic, it was silly, but, you know, it was based on something so simple, you know, and just like a pedestrian.
So they call it setting when you give the instruction to dancers?
Yes, it's a setting choreography. So my brothers were not in that one too, and I actually don't really meditate. I know that sounds bad. I feel like I should get better at relaxing, but like for me, like,
actually I'm gonna write a note down because I need to get back into it.
Yeah, no, if I ever need to relax, I'll go on a run or something, and I'll think about it while I'm doing that. But that way I feel like I'm not losing time, and I feel like I'm still like keeping my brain active. And I know that that's probably not the best, and probably not what everyone else does, but it works.
They're different forms. And when you know, meditation is cool though, when you get a chance to explore it.
I have before, but for me,
It's
like,
not easy. It's not easy to just sit. I know, because I try it
it's
and
so
it's like,
hard.
it's
It's so
hard.
hard. I'll fixate on one thing during it, but sometimes I feel like I am meditating when I fixate on like one thing for something in choreography. Like usually when I'm on the treadmill, I'm thinking about choreography, you know, and like when I listen to a song, I hear dance steps. I do have too much energy. That is very true. Yeah. I do have weight, and I love coffee too much, so that really doesn't work well for me in that one. Yeah, the rosary does count as meditation. Yes. Yeah.
So what is Set a Fire? What's Set a
Oh,
Fire?
yes. So that was a show that we did last year. Now it's like all the years are blending together because we missed a semester. Right. And Renee, oh my gosh. Yeah, so we had a show with school, and that was the first piece that I ever had a lead in. And my friend Emily was choreographing, and she cast me as her lead. And it was about someone seeing like a lucky penny on the street and just picking it up and being like, hey, oh, it's my lucky day. And then they were just like obsessed with the penny. But it was very fun. It was, you know, very like rhythm tap, and I love tap. It was incredible. And it was just so fun to like be the lead of something in college, just because there's so many talented people at OCU. It's like, why me?
Because you're awesome. Accept your power.
Thank you.
Obviously stay humble, but accept it.
Yes.
So so Find a Penny. Find a Penny, pick it up. I love that you're the things you performed, there's such depth and relatability. You know, like the sleepwalking thing, like everyone can relate to that. They either know someone or they have. And then the penny, I found one a few days ago, actually. It wasn't heads up, but I picked it up anyway. And it's like, yes. You don't often find pennies anymore, you know?
I know, coin shortage.
But that's cool. It's cool. Simple stories can really lift people, because it's just, we can all come together on these simple things.
Yeah. And there's so many, I mean, the most brilliant ideas always come from that just one, like not even something happening, but just a moment, you know, to reflect on, because there's something so particular, you know, to focus on. Yeah, the coin short. Yeah.
Coin short, it's crazy. So what are some goal projects that you have?
Yeah. So like when I moved back to New York, I am so excited to move back. I miss everyone. I miss the city. And first of all, I want to professionally perform before doing anything like choreographic wise. But I would love to set choreography on Friends, like once I'm just around the city, because obviously we're limited with what we're allowed to do now on campus, because I want to make sure it's safe for everyone, and like everyone being fully vaccinated. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But I mean, I've just been trying to store away all the ideas and have them in the notes app, and just, you know, being ready to jump in as soon as I am able to. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to create once I'm, you know, with all my friends in the city. I'd love to just record stuff around anywhere outside, inside, once it's safe. But I would say that that's the goal. I have quite a list of projects that will happen as soon as I graduate, but the number one goal is getting a job in general. Oh, yes, Gabby.
So how do you write choreography, like on paper?
I mean, I can notate it. For me, I'm a very visual person. So because the first time I had to choreograph something big was my sophomore solo when I had broken my foot. So I had to choreograph the whole thing without being able to dance. So I have I would say a film kind of, or like a director's brain, where like I kind of just see the whole stage, and then I can just like squint and like see what path I need to go in, and just hearing certain accents and just like writing down the keywords for that. I have a pretty good memory, but I like recording it, even though like I'll like write down like the adjectives and like what I was thinking when I made it up. But I'll usually take more videos, because that just works a little bit better for me. And I do like seeing it so that I can critique it a little bit. Yeah, but a little bit of everything. There's a way to notate it, to write out like, okay, passe on count 6, blah, 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 blah. But for me, it's a little bit too mechanical, where I like that it's very open to interpretation. And I like seeing it that doesn't file well into my brain. I just like having it on a video, just being like, okay.
That's your process.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, wow. So I'm thinking of just artists throughout time, because the foot thing reminded me of the struggle of being an artist.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated, you know, especially when everything hit? Because everyone got knocked down. I was on top, right? I got knocked down. So what motivates you? You know, journal, like someone's in meditation, journaling, everything.
I would say keeping open to everything be inspiring you all the time, because right now, I mean, especially being at like such a small university where everyone is so talented, it's so easy to compare yourself to others. And you know, if going to the city taught me anything, and like taking classes with, you know, at Broadway Dance Center and Steps on Broadway since I was a kid, I was inspired by the people next to me. I wasn't trying to be better than them because they were already on Broadway and I wasn't, you know. And I just liked being a fly on the wall and learning like that. And I think what keeps me most motivated is keeping that mindset of always letting everything inspire me and not feeling like I have to compete for it, for that validation for myself.
Because in the dancer world, it's extremely competitive, right?
Yeah, especially because it's so image based, you know. And you know, thank God there's that push now, and everyone is with their body positivity. That's wonderful, because I've seen too many of my friends torn up because you know, of
well, that's prevalent in the community, right?
Of course. But you know, there's also, I mean, my body's my instrument. I have to pay my dues to her every day for being able to do what I need to do. And it's a physical career, so you know, you can only do it for so long. But you also need to keep yourself safe, and you know. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Stina Show is motivating. And I'm so glad that you interview artists and just give everyone, you know, an opportunity to just like elevate each other. I think that's wonderful. And it's, you know, also, if I've learned anything from working with so many artists, it's just that everyone has a voice, you know. Everyone has something interesting to say. And that's, you know, again, being collaborative with people is so beneficial to your career, just because, you know, you may have a great vision, but you don't know how it's going to be perceived by others. And not being so like hung up on like what everyone thinks of it, but like what they can add to it and how you can make it into something bigger than yourself, you know?
Yeah, and the collaboration. I mean, I'm seeing people. I started 15 years ago professionally, and now I'm seeing people I met in the beginning. You know, on your way up, you have to be kind, right? I'm coming back into contact with some of these people, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm glad I, you know, overcame my insecurities back then with whatever was going on, because now I get along with these people. And I'm happy, because that's what, especially entertainment, that's how it's going to be. Like, you're going to rise to the top. Some people will drop off, but you're going to see these people again in the future. So be nice, work together, and really, right, it's all about collaboration. Yeah, and purely about people, right?
And just like seeing, and seeing people that you were like, that you trained with make it is so incredibly reassuring that your dream can become your career, you know. And it's not ever something to be like mad about. There's not the competition with it. Like, I want to work with people that I love, and I want to work with people that are my best friends, you know, because then we're all going to push each other to be better, you know. And obviously we'll still stay professional, even though, you know, I love being a goofball change all the time. But I mean, there's so much value in, you know, just being with people that, you know, feel open to put something out there, you know?
Yeah, like that. Well, an audition process, you know, we go in a room, just say a general audition. You go in the room and there's 5 other people who look like you, right? It's your essence that they want. I mean, the writer wrote blonde, whatever, but they want my flavor, my spice, you know? They don't, you know, it's not about your look in the end. I mean, it gets you to the door, as you said, but
Yeah.
the essence gets you through, right?
Yeah, and keeps you in, you know?
So what about dancing auditions? How do those go?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta separate yourself from it just a little bit. You know, you gotta be a little bit confident in the fact that you've been training for this your whole life. And it's, you know, it's difficult to walk the line of, okay, do I make an artistic choice there, or do I stay, you know, because I'm always very technical first about everything before I allow myself to perform, which, you know, is a little bit of a boundary. And, you know, when it comes to auditions, I can't show that, you know, but, you know, especially like singing, I won't perform it unless I know that I am paying my respect to the music and to the composer. And the best example of that is probably like The Light in the Piazza. You can't, you know, if you've ever listened to that, wow, okay, Adam Guettel, genius. But it's so hard to perform that without paying your respects to the music. And everything is there for a reason, and all the dynamics in it will help you do it better and perform it in the way that it was intended to be performed, you know, but you can still leave your mark on it. But it's the same thing with dancing, you know, and it's hard to know your worth when you file in to a crowd like that, you know, and it's especially doing like Rockette style dancing. It's easy to just be another person in the line, but you're a team, you know, and that's why you want to see your friends perform next to you, you know, and you want to see your friends strive and succeed because you're going to be stronger together. Like, is there one Rockette? No. And like, would anyone go to watch one Rockette? No. It's the aesthetically pleasing kick line of everyone going.
The line.
So, yeah.
So cool. How many times have you seen the Rockettes?
Oh, too many times. Yeah.
Every year?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, so cool. Yeah. So, I mean, we have some time, but how many schools have you gone to? You've gone to a lot of schools, huh?
Oh, for just dancing in general?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. So, okay, when I was a kid, I liked doing only hip hop at first, just because I was just like, okay, I got a pop lock, jam break, you know. But I ended up going to a more like musical theater school, and June Claire, if you've ever heard of it, they have a few locations on Long Island, and it was so incredible. They had a great musical theater background. And like one of my teachers, Lloyd, he just had such a firm foundation in like Fosse, and I was so blessed to have like his plethora of knowledge at such a young age, you know, like influencing me not as only a dancer but also a choreographer, because he was such a fantastic choreographer and like mind to learn from, you know. And I was just so blessed to, Lloyd is the best. Just having that experience, just being like having someone to look up to that was, you know, so successful for himself. It was,
Melissa.
It was, oh my gosh, hello. Yeah, I love everyone. It was
the best.
Ooh, what do I like most about dancing? Like definitely impacting strangers. I love talking to strangers. That's something that motivates me more than most things. Hi. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love talking to strangers when I'm on airplanes. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. Like I'll journal about my conversations with like just like a stranger making your day, because you know it's authentic. You know that they don't need to tell you anything. You know, and I love that with dancing I get to make a stranger smile, you know, because I don't know how their day's going. I don't know what's going on at home, but I can make their day a little less bad. And, you know, whether they laugh or they're like, no, okay, you know, but, you know, I made them feel something. It's you're
an entertainer.
It's just cool. Right? I am an entertainer. So, and I think it's important to be like an actress first before being a singer or a dancer, because it's so easy to just get in the mindset of I am only a dancer. But I mean, no, like I'm telling someone's story. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I just love people so much. I've had like the most interesting conversations of my life with just complete strangers. you know, and just like going on a tangent talking about something. I remember one time I was on an airplane with like a surgeon. He was probably like 35-ish, had a bunch of kids, and like we were talking about how both of us have to perform under pressure and like what we do to be better at that. And he's like, I could never perform. And I'm like, you can never perform. Oh my gosh, you're the one that's an actual surgeon. I'm just dancing on stage. Like, yeah, I mean, if I get my blocking wrong, I'll get in trouble. But I mean, you know, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, but it was just interesting to talk about that. And it's like, well, what do you do to train that? You know, like, is it just the way that you are? Because I know that I work best under pressure. Which is why I would love to be like a swing for a Broadway show, just getting put in like at the last second and having to learn. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Javier.
Christina, you do, Sharon.
Oh, stop it. It takes two, Mary.
Thank you.
What's a swing list? What, like a backup or something?
Yeah, well, a swing does get paid more than people that are actually in the cast because they have to know multiple parts.
Wow.
And usually like you'll perform in the cast sometimes like before you're a swing, but not always. It depends on like the contract, but you have to have such like a math brain for that because it's like, okay, well, you're going into track 7 and for this they're 7 for that and this for that ripple and this for, you know, and you could be reversing half of the combination that you just learned, you know. But I love working like that. I loved math in high school and I love how it works out logically. It's like aesthetically pleasing to me. So that's another thing that can calm me down. Like if I'm stressed and I just like think about like, okay, well, like math works out, like, you know, ballet works out, but I love that everything else is so gray. It's very interesting. But you know, sometimes logic is very therapeutic in a weird way.
It's balance, you know, because I'm very logical. Like I almost have to force myself to like leave the house to get let loose, right? You have to force yourself to not be logical or else you kind of get stuck in that one road zone, you know?
Yeah.
So balance. How do you stay balanced?
Oh, how do I stay balanced? Definitely having a little bit of open space in my schedule, you know, and you know, making sure that I'm keeping touch with the people around me and not being so fixated on just what I'm trying to accomplish. Because yeah, and I do have a pretty strict schedule for myself. I do a lot of the same things every single day, but I always try to do at least something different, you know. And some part of staying balanced also is learning to treat yourself every now and again. Like I used to hate Tuesdays, and then every Tuesday I treat myself to something because now I love Tuesdays, you know, because I used to be like, why is Tuesday just a day in the week? Like Tuesday is just terrible, you know. And then it's like, okay, well now I have a cookie, so game changer, you know. But
right, there's a lot of hours in a day, right?
Yeah, but I mean, just anything like a little bit different, that balances me. But also having a little bit of a schedule to stick to.
The foundation.
I mean, yeah, I love working out a lot because it gives me the endorphins to just keep my mind going. Yeah. And you know, everyone does what they need to do, you know. Not everyone needs to work out to feel that, you know. But for me, I'm such an energizer bunny and I need that to just keep going because it's like my mind's coffee where like the coffee will just help like my heart physically beat fast enough. But like if I'm not doing something, you know, Also, no, because sometimes I would say I have coffee right before bed because it gives me energy to dream bigger.
Oh, God.
But that's really just because I have a very strong tolerance for coffee.
Well, working in the coffee shop, you build one, right?
I know, dangerous. But yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's like someone told me recently because I was like sleeping, I don't know, I was sleeping a lot and I have low heart rate, low blood pressure, whatever. So if I'm not moving, you know, you have to make movement happen for movement to happen. And also you have a natural, like not infinite energy, but a natural energy in us that if you're not using it up like that fuel, it's going to come back and slow you down instead. So you have to use it. You have to keep the just keep going, because just keep swimming, right? That's what she
Of
said.
course.
But
yeah, I would say that's probably like a pretty big fear of mine, would be to lose that in my, like, you know, like that mentality of just, you know, just being like go-getting with everything. You know, because that's what I rely on. Like, I have to keep moving. I have to be doing something. Where I do like being very introspective, but I like choosing to be introspective when I don't have to be. Like, I don't like just like sitting in my room and just being like, oh, I love being by myself. I mean, a lot of my friends are like that, and you know, all my respect to them. They're very just like zen, they're chill, and I feel like I'm chill in a different type of way, where like if I'm hanging out with people and then I get to choose to just like have my own little philosophical like moment, that means so much more to me because I'm actively choosing to do that.
reflection. That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I was actually very introverted growing up, and then I just pursuing performance makes you extroverted, and you just kind of get used to it. But you do have to balance and make it right, make yourself go inside sometimes.
Yeah, otherwise there's, you know, there's no way to be healthy about it, you know, because you're constantly like worrying about other people's perceptions of you at these auditions. So you have to have that grounded feel, and you want to be able to speak to other people and show your story to them. But you're also telling someone else's story probably. So there's a little bit of like a selfless aspect. Wait, okay, sorry. I thought it bugged that for a second. Yeah, so there's a little bit of like selflessness in that, and like detaching yourself from it, but you also don't want to worry too much about what other people are thinking about it, because you have to recognize
deliver.
Yeah,
Deliver. So we're in our last few minutes. Do you want to say anything to the fans and where people could follow you online?
Oh yeah, well, first of all, thank you everyone for coming, and everyone who's gonna watch it, because I know sometimes you like post it after. Yeah, I have my Instagram handle is Mary2_Donnelly. There's 2 N's and 2 L's. And yeah, so you can follow me on there. I do have a website, and I will be coming up with new stuff soon. And thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for having me, because I'm just, you know, I'm just so glad.
It was overdue, Mary.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait to be back.
I know, come back. We were excited to have you, but I'm also excited to see you living your dreams. So
thank you so much. But yeah, and even when, like, hopefully when my day comes, you know.
It is your day, Mary. You're here now.
I know.
You're doing the work, right? You're doing it.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And yeah, keep us updated with any projects you have, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that's my Instagram handle, but you'll probably see that also tagged in the video. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary. Post your stuff. We want to see it all, okay?
Oh, yes. Stay positive.
Much love. Stay positive.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Mary. Thank you everyone for joining. Mary's the sweetest, and happy to see her dancing, and very positive. Yeah, she's very positive, for Mike, who said that, Mikey. So what's next week? Next week's guest. Happy birthday, Stephanie Fung. It's her birthday today, and I believe she'll be our guest next week. So happy birthday, Steph. I love you, girl. Thank you, Mary, again for joining. Thank you, everyone else for joining. Thank you, Vin. I appreciate that comment right there. And see you next week. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves.